Hola, KGB.
Yo, what's up, man? It's the word.
Bro, fatherhood in it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yo, did you catch the jokes? So there was a couple of episodes you wasn't around, and it was like the beginning of the conflict in Ukraine, and then he was like, "Yo, is it odd that KGB is not?"
Yeah, I remember that. I heard that joke.
Still gives me the giggles.
So you had a story to tell.
Mm.
You want to wait in case E comes on, or you want to run with it?
So I have two stories. All right, let me start with the first one. So
Okay.
my daughter recently saw the movie The Notebook. So my 15-year-old,
Okay.
and she was a mess when she watched it. And so my daughter's a funny kid. She started recording herself as she was crying.
Okay.
And I was like, why are you recording yourself crying? And she's like, because I think it's funny. But she's like, she's not joking. Like, she's dead ass crying like the whole time, bawling, right? So she sends me the videos. I'm like, I'm gonna post this, right? She's like, no, I look crazy. No, you can't. I was like, all right, but can I use the audio on the podcast? She's like, okay, yeah. So I'm gonna play you a little bit of her freaking out after watching The Notebook.
Okay.
Maybe
What
if
up, E?
I need to
What's going
unmute.
on?
What's up,
One of
E?
those days.
Yeah, man.
All right, here we go. Watch.
And she remembered his name and everything, like what she was like laying on the bed, like she was dying, and then but he was also dying. Oh my god, that's so refocused. And then so he's like talking to her, and he was like, "I'll never leave you." She was like, "I didn't know what to do because I didn't think you were gonna come back." And he was like, "Of course I'll come back. I'll never leave you." And then, oh mom, I can't. And then so. Wait, what happened? Oh my gosh, I forgot.
All right, I'll cut it off.
Damn.
So like, yo, she's going in like mad tears, and I'm like, all right, she's going, she's got her period, all that stuff, and then my wife and her are talking about it, and like, this is, I think she told me afterwards, like, no, I cry pretty often in my room, like when I'm watching movies or whatever, like when they hit emotionally, she lets it go. And I'm like, how do you feel about that? She's like, no, I think it's great. Like I not that she enjoys crying, but she enjoys like the release.
Right.
Yeah. And I was like, damn, you are so fucking mature, man. Cause still to this day, it's tough for me to just like let it go.
Right. Yeah. Who did we have that conversation with?
Amadeus.
Yeah.
Amadeus was on.
Yep.
And then she's recording herself crying, which I can't wrap my head around. But that movie, The Notebook, really impacted her. Like she's been on this wave lately of like relationships. So my 6-year-old also, but the 15-year-old is like really like, if my wife and I embrace, now it's not ill, go away. It's more like,
oh,
right. Yeah. So every little thing now for her, she picks up on it. Now it's like love, emotion, that kind of thing is happening. So, yeah, fun times.
Need to cry more, Manny.
I really think I do. I gotta find how to do that though. I'm not. My male toxicity is not allowing it to flow.
Do it in your swimming pool so you can just go underwater.
I'm not crying. I'm just wet.
Right.
It was the pool.
It's the chlorine that got my eyes red.
Manny, why does it look like you're wearing a hospital gown?
Yo, this is my blouse, kid. This is my blouse. Yo, this shirt is actually mad funky to me. Like, it fits well, it's comfortable on me, but it just, I can't help when I look in the mirror. I'm like, yo, I'm kind of wearing a blouse. But hospital gown also works too. You're right.
And it snags your nipple rings.
Yeah, well, if I had some, it would.
He got the door knockers on his nipples.
Yo, that would be amazing, kid. I have never seen that, but I'm sure it's out there.
I'm sure it's out there.
So that's a good segue into these lollipops.
Yo, hold on. Before you start, I was
Right.
trying to do some research on these things. I couldn't find nothing. I found
Scary.
the parent brand, which
Right.
I'm sure you're
You know,
familiar with.
they only sell them and they're made in Kendall. Secret ingredient.
Chill out, bro. That's foul, man.
Is that a Smoke Champs exclusive? Like,
Come on,
secret-
man. Nah, come on. You're gonna get me some shit with fucking parent services, bro.
Nah. Go ahead.
Or children's services. Is it parent services or children's services? I probably need parent services, bro.
Parent services is prison, my friend. That's
Yeah,
what's
exactly.
gonna go down.
I mean, my girl's done plenty of research to. She's not, she gets like all the whatever organic, most wholesome thing that she could find out there. I don't know about the brand, and I need to research myself, but it has like 1 milligram of melatonin.
Okay.
Right? Which I don't know. My research, even for myself, taking melatonin, which I actually weaned myself off of it. I don't know how good or bad it is. I've heard that it's not that good to get used to melatonin. I heard it's not that bad. I don't know.
Yeah, I've heard both, but I think in any instance, it's one of those things where you just don't want to do it every day type scenario.
Right. So with that being said, I've been doing it every other day with my daughter, and it's just
Okay.
it's crazy. It is a parent hack. I mean, do your own research. And it's these lollipops. For anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about, it's these children's sleep time lollipop, and they also have like elderberry and other things in there,
Yeah.
vitamins to help them with their immunity. But this is the crazy thing. So when my girl first told me about them, and I was like, whatever, it's whatever, like, oh, these lollipops, if you want to give her one, and I'm like, I don't want to give her a lollipop before she goes to sleep. That doesn't make any sense. It's it's counterproductive. I don't get it. And then we got to brush her teeth afterwards again and all this crap. So my daughter, she's been like, she's hyper at night. I usually am the one that finalizes putting her to sleep. And it takes about, no lie, a close to an hour.
Damn.
Like close to an hour when she's already in her bed. Like she's bouncing around.
Have you cut the naps out at this point, or is she still napping?
In school, like she often she won't sleep.
Okay.
She won't take the nap. And then at home on the weekends, we do quiet time. And then like last weekend, Saturday, she didn't, she was just in her room, just quiet time.
Yeah.
Laying in bed, awake, and we could see that she was awake, looking at her on the monitor. On Sunday, she fell asleep. So it depends on the day to day. But like I said, it takes about close to an hour to get her to sleep. She goes through the whole routine. There's her story. I tell her stories. She negotiates how many stories with me. She's like 3. I'm like 1. Then we end up on 2. We do the little piggies sometimes. We really normally what we do is we do piggies on her feet. The fucking piggy shit. She wants both her feet. Piggies done. Then she wants 2 to 3 stories. Then she wants me to shush her to sleep. And then when that's supposed to be the ending, she goes, "Oh, I got to go to the bathroom." And then we go to the bathroom, and then she's like, "Oh," and then now the new thing is that we want her to, if she could poop, it's always a win any time of the day. You know what I'm saying? So now she wants me to tell her a poop story. I made up this poop story about you eat the food and then how it becomes poop in your stomach, and to try to see if it gets her to poop. Right? So she's like, "Now tell me the poop story." Then I want to drink of water, and then go back to the bed.
It's the old prolonged sleep.
Then maybe negotiate story, and I'm like, "No more story." Then I have to shush her to sleep again, and then I say goodnight. And as I'm walking out, then she's like, "But I love you." And I said, "Okay, I love you." I'm closing the door. I said, "I love you." And all this stuff. So it takes about an hour, right? Yo, you give her this lollipop. She's like, "No piggies." Okay, 2 stories. By the second story, then she's like, some of the stories involves like tickling sometimes, and she's like, "No tickling, just straight story, and shush me to sleep." Okay, right, yeah. And I'm out of it. And I'm like, "Yo," I told the first time I was like, "Yo, these things are awesome, man." These things are awesome. It cuts the hour or 45 minutes down to like 20 minutes, bro.
Oh, because when that hour long trying to get to sleep, you're done by the end of that. It's like,
Bro,
Exhausting.
done.
it's exhausting.
And I end up losing my patience, and I feel bad because then I'm starting to get mad. Like I get mad sometimes because she'll do this shit where she scoots under the sheet and she's like, "Daddy, you can't fight." I'm like, bro, I'm not playing a fucking game right now with you.
Right.
You know. And then when I'm closing the door, she's like, but I love. I'm like, oh, I love you. I love my house. I love this. I love that. I'm like, fuck, bro. We're doing a whole other story now. So yeah, it's exhausting. So those lollipops like really help. But of course, not every day. But then even every other day, I feel guilty because you give it to her and then you see her feeling like that sensation, which like her eyes are like closed.
Yeah.
But she's actually really tired regardless.
Right.
Is it she's she doesn't want to go to sleep. So she, what do they she's restless. Yeah, she's restless. She's overtired.
Yeah.
So I feel like the lollipops actually just allow her to calm down and just,
Yeah, well, that amount of milk, I mean, that's a small amount. We had talked to our pediatrician about it a couple of years ago also, just to kind of find out. Because I think so there's it's a brand called, I think it's Dr. Zarbee's. Like,
Isn't this it or no?
Nah.
No, well, we have that brand in our house too.
So there's they have like the cough syrup. It's all natural, but it's like honey.
Like that shit, dude.
It's honey, but there's a nighttime one. So it's honey. I think they have like elderberry in there, zinc in there, but then it's got a little bit of melatonin in there. And so when my son would start to get, like, we tried a bunch of different things, but then when my son would start to get sick or feel like the onset, or even when he was fully sick, we'd give him that Zarbee's and
night
out. And we were like, oh damn, this thing works incredible. So I can't front, like, even when he's coming off of being sick and still a little bit, I'm like, yeah, maybe he should have a little bit of Zarbee's. Just because again, we used to have issues with it, just would take forever for him to fall asleep. Like one of us would read him a story, but then like an hour would go by and I'm still reading and I'm like looking over on the side, like, all right, his eyes closing. So it's exhausting, right?
Super exhausting.
But yeah, so I know what you're saying.
So I don't know, man.
So now you're addicted to giving it to her. You're trying to space the shit out though.
No, I settled on every other day, even though I need to check in and see if that's even overdoing it. But it's like, yo, when it's the day, is it yesterday? I didn't get it. Today's the day.
Look at you. Look, you're smiling your ass off.
Yo, because you're like, oh, I get like an extra, 30 minutes of time, that I can go downstairs and do whatever. I'm like, yo, it's really helpful, man.
How fast after she finishes the lollipop?
Dude, it's so insane how fast it works. Like really insane.
Scary. That's scary, bro.
Like it's not okay. So this is what happened the other day. So she took it and I saw it working fast, right? And so I'm shushing her to sleep. Her eyes are closing and she looks, she's that sleepy, I don't want to say the word drugged out look, but that sleepy look. And I'm like, she looks vulnerable. And I just start to like tell her how much I love her, how proud I get into this mode where I'm like, I can talk to her. She's not hyper. And I did that for too long because then she like woke up again and starts.
You missed your window off.
Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck did I do? What did I do?
Overloved.
No. I'm not proud of you. Go back to sleep. Go back to sleep.
Yeah, you gotta let it happen, otherwise.
Oh yeah, I can't. Yeah. Man, I was in a zone. I was like all sentimental. I was about to cry. I'm like, oh, I love you, baby. Oh, you're my daughter. I'm so proud of you. It was funny because she had went to gymnastics that day, and I'm like, I'm so proud. She goes, because of gymnastics? I go, no, I'm just proud of you for being you. And she's like, oh. And then she slowly started creeping under her sheets. And she's like, Dad, you can't find me. Like, oh, fuck, what's going on? No!
Yo, we usually have a lot of new parents that listen to the podcast. I don't know if they know what shushing to sleep is. Do you want to shush me to sleep so that you can show them how it's done?
Do you know what it is?
I'm not really sure. So
Do you know what it is, Kay?
shush
The
Manny get
shushing?
you to sleep.
Yeah.
No,
You guys don't know
I-
what shushing is?
I could only assume it's like
I'm assuming. Yeah.
just make some kind of little
Yeah,
song or humming or something like that, right?
Yeah, no, literally shushing.
Oh.
Like
No, shush Manny.
I'll pat her pat her head.
You're dodging the example. Shush
Wait,
Manny.
I'm gonna set it up how
All right,
the shushing goes, and then sometimes she'll be like rub her leg, or I know that in her school she has the teacher rub her arm to help her go to sleep. And it's a lady, by the way, but I wouldn't want to I wouldn't want a dude teacher rubbing her arm. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Got it.
not with you.
But yeah, so basically, like I'll rub her head and I'll be going shh, 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 you know, one of those. That's shushing.
Yeah, I got you.
Like when you tell someone shh, that's shushing
But you're doing it more nice and
for sleeping.
Calming.
Yeah.
not
So
like
have
when you
you-
tell me to be quiet.
Shut the fuck up.
Have you asked your pediatrician about these lollipops?
Fucking guy, a pediatrician, man. This guy, fucking robo doc.
I'm just saying.
I don't know what, man. I don't like asking this guy anything. Our pediatrician, this fucking guy, man.
Because he's the one that you were sus about it before, right?
Yeah, that we didn't really like that much.
Yeah.
I hope he never listens to this podcast.
Oh, he's gonna hear it. Robo Doc, if you're listening.
This fucking dude, like, I don't know, man. Everything is off. Let me ask you this: do your pediatricians have an iPad and everything is stats?
Nah.
No.
Nah, not mine.
Mine has a laptop and they plug stuff in.
Okay, so mine, he
They
comes
plug
in.
notes in.
They put in all the stats, everything, you know, the measurements,
vitals,
the growth, the brain, the brain,
Yeah.
the head, you know, measurement, everything. If they did blood work, whatever. And then he's like always coming in, he's just fucking reading the stats and he's telling us the percentage. Hey, your child is this percent. I don't even know what the fuck he's talking about, bro. Is the percentage high, low, good, bad? What the fuck does that mean, man? And then you tell him anything. I don't know, man. This guy's a fucking prick, man. I remember one time my daughter had the phone in her hand and he's like, you better nip that in the butt now or you're gonna have problems in the future.
Oh, yeah,
I'm like,
thanks,
bro,
guy.
relax, guy.
Yeah.
Like, she's in a fucking doctor's office. You got us waiting here 3 fucking hours.
All right.
Like, what do you want her to do? Twiddle her fingers? But anyways, I haven't asked him, no.
Okay.
And you're not going to either.
Actually, you know what? Our doctor at one point did recommend us to try like little melatonin gummies
There you go.
because he was having
Your
having
doctor's good enough.
because he was having like sleep anxiety at one point. That
All right.
like anxiety before like going to sleep.
All
Yeah.
right. So we got it there. We got
So you
Kay's doctor
All right.
called it.
So you're good.
so you're straight. Your son doesn't use these, right? He's
No.
good going to sleep.
No, and we would. He's too young. We would. It's for
3 and
three
up.
and up. 3 and up.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And then when you're 4 and up, I think you just take full on sleeping pills. I'm just kidding.
All
kidding, guys. No, nobody do this. This is not we're not qualified to give any of this advice. The sleeping pills was a joke, and the lollipops fucking
Are not a joke, but please do your research.
talk to your own pediatricians. I'm just putting it out there that they work for us.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think you mentioned the name, but they're called Sleepeez, is what they're called, and they are made by a company called Mommy's Choice. Double EZ at the end of that. Mommy's.
I think it's like a
Choice.
Swedish company or something.
I don't
You know,
know.
the Swedes, bro. They don't fuck anybody up.
They're neutral about everything.
Except they're about to join NATO, so see how that
then
goes.
the world gets fucked at that point.
Yeah.
Them and Finland. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah.
Leave it to the ultra whites.
I got Jesus. So I have a question for you guys to see how into the 2022s you are. How does a 5-year-old kid say "F you, dad"?
Huh?
Eh?
Yeah. Any guesses?
No.
No.
Okay. And I'm gonna tell you the story behind this. So you know how people make the little heart?
Yeah.
So this is how they do it. And they break the shit. Now let me tell you. Hold on, let me
My
tell you
daughter
the
just
story.
stomps.
Okay.
She goes like this.
Let me tell you the story. So, a group of us dads, well, parents, but on this day it was us. There was 3 dads dropping the kids off at the bus stop in my neighborhood, and one of my neighbor's children was trying to run to the bus before the bus like stopped. So, his dad held him back to make sure he was safe, and then he let him go. And the kid didn't like that. So he started, crying, having a little bit of a tantrum. And then, the dad came over and tried to like calm him down. It was like, yo, chill, I'm sorry. Here's what I was trying to do, whatever. And the kid kind of calmed down a little bit, sat down in the bus, window facing, the dads. And then normally like he'll throw up the heart, like, I love you, dad type of thing before they pull off. This day the kid like almost like a psych. He like put the heart together and then like calm face, and then all of a sudden was like and busted that joint.
Oh damn.
Yo, son, I was watching the whole thing and I had to cover my face because I don't want it to look like it's a joke. Like, it's not. It's funny, but it's not funny. Like he shouldn't see it as a joke. And I look at my neighbor. I'm like, yo,
what do you do?
He's just standing there, like he couldn't really. He kept like double hearting and shit. Like, here, more hearts. And the kid was like, kept and then pointing at his dad. Yo, so I hadn't laughed like that in a minute. Like I'm walking home crying because I'm like, yo, the kid was dead ass serious. Like, and we talked about it. It was like, yo, that's like the 5-year-old's way of saying fuck you, dad.
Do you know if the kid came back same mood?
Nah, he was cool by the time he came back. Yeah.
How do you kids like taking the bus?
They love the bus.
Do they?
Yeah, the bus is like a big badge of independence for them.
I used to love when I finally got used to it. In the beginning, I didn't fuck with it, but once I got into it, I liked the bus too.
The other day, my daughter had yesterday my daughter had cheerleading. She got into cheerleading, so she stayed after school, and then my son came alone on the bus. Yo, he was ecstatic because he didn't have the responsibility of his sister, so he could sit anywhere on the bus and just kind of be himself. And so I'm sure he's looking at his sister now like she's like the Achilles heel. He's like, yeah, you got to go do something so I could be on this bus by myself.
Hey, Manny, before we jump out of here, I think we talked about this a long time ago without getting into
specifics
and things like that. That when you moved, how many times did you move with your kids?
So let's see. Acquired kids in Florida. I had 2 kids while I was in Florida. Moved to the Bay Area, had the 3rd kid, and then moved to New York again. So my eldest has moved twice.
How was, generally speaking, how was moving as a family unit? How did that go down? How was that?
We were fearful. So the first time we were really scared because my eldest at the time, she was 6. I think she was 6. And so she had kind of already started forging relationships. She was in 1st grade already at the time. So like, and then the people that she knew growing up, like her whole family was there. So pulling her out of that environment and us going to a place that we had nobody was a big fear for us. So we weren't sure how it was going to pan out, but we were like stacking the deck in our favor, so to speak, to try to like show her like what she was getting herself into as early as we could in the process. So it worked out really well. We found that allowed us to understand like she's very amenable to adapt. For her, change isn't that difficult. But then with our son, we were more calculated, and our youngest daughter, we wanted to make sure that when we did move, if we ever moved again, we had a window of time where we were going to do it, where it's like one of the major milestones in school, we were trying to avoid being in the middle of one of those. So for my son, it was like, all right, we got to make sure that before kindergarten, if we're going to make this move, we do it. And also it factored into my eldest too. Like we don't want her to make an unnecessary move while she's in the middle of like those formative years. But for us, thankfully, the transitions were pretty smooth.
Yeah, because everything for you is fucking smooth.
No,
Sick of it, bro.
that's
Sick of
K.
it.
That's K.
No, that's both of you guys. Nothing I ever tell you guys. Oh, it never happened in our fucking house. No,
you just picked the wrong friends, bro. That's it.
No, let me ask you this though, Manny. Do you think that the kids having each other helps in those moves versus if it being one child?
So it's hard to say, right? Because we experienced it we moved and my son was an infant. He was 3 months old. So technically she had him, but he was useless basically to her.
Right.
So it was kind of her being by herself. I think in her case, she was just different than what I think might be the norm, where having a sibling, I think definitely would make a difference, would help the situation, because it's a journey that they're experiencing together, and you could set that shit up as like an adventure, and they can kind of like use it as a means to like imagine and all that kind of stuff. But my wife and I had to kind of play that role with my daughter and like really set the stage, like, oh, have you seen mountains before? Because Florida's mad flat.
Yeah.
Yeah, in pictures. And we was like, nah, look, our backyard is going to have a mountain. Like, and we would like, play it that way.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how the other side lives. I haven't really delved into that one, but what have you heard? I mean, I don't think UK haven't really had that experience, right? Your son was primarily California.
Yeah, no, he's
all
been there since day one. Yeah, I mean, I moved a ton when I was younger, so I know what it's like. But I don't know what it's like to actually
do it with the fam.
With the fam, yeah. And I mean, we've switched schools here locally, but we've never done the out of state switch everything up.
The worst part of moving, period, in my many travels, is the moving company, especially when you go cross country. Bruh, have not had any luck with that. That is the worst industry on the planet.
Yeah, they fuck everything up.
Everything.
Might as well just limit it to where you just buy most of the shit, sell it, and buy again.
Yeah, it would be better.
All right. Well, more on that later offline.
Cool.
Let's just sleep on it with the lollipops.
There we go.
All
right, gents.
All right, y'all.
All right, fellas. Sorry I was late today.
That's okay. We're used to it, bro. Later.